Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel, English Podcast. I'm Jennifer, and I'm here with my co-host, David. How are you doing today, David?
I'm doing great, Jennifer. Thanks for asking. And to all our listeners out there, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating topic that's close to everyone's hearts, the impact of happiness on life.
That's right, David. Happiness is something we all strive for. But have you ever wondered how it truly affects our lives? And while we explore this topic, we'll also help you learn English in a simple and engaging way. So whether you're here to improve your English or just to enjoy the conversation, you're in the right place.
Absolutely. Let's get started.
So David, let's begin with the basics. What does happiness mean to you?
That's a great question, Jennifer. For me, happiness is a feeling of contentment and joy. It's when you feel at peace with yourself and the world around you. But I think it's different for everyone. What about you?
I agree. Happiness is subjective. For me, it's about finding joy in the little things like a good book, a walk in nature, or spending time with loved ones. But beyond personal feelings, why do you think happiness matters so much in life?
Well, research shows that happiness has a huge impact on our overall well-being. Happy people tend to live longer, have better relationships, and even perform better at work. It's not just a fleeting emotion. It's a state of mind that shapes our lives.
That's so true. And I think it's important to note that happiness isn't just about feeling good. It's also about how it influences our actions and decisions. For example, when we're happy, we're more likely to be kind to others, take care of our health, and pursue our goals.
Exactly. Happiness creates a positive cycle. The happier we are, the more we invest in ourselves and others, which in turn brings even more happiness. It's like a ripple effect.
I love that analogy. But here's a question. Do you think happiness is something we can control? Or is it just a result of external circumstances?
That's a tricky one. I think it's a bit of both. External factors like relationships, health, and career definitely play a role, but I also believe we have the power to cultivate happiness from within. For example, practicing gratitude or mindfulness can help us feel happier even when life gets tough.
I completely agree. While we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond to it. And that's where the power of mindset comes in.
Absolutely. And speaking of mindset, let's talk about how happiness affects our daily lives. For instance, how do you think being happy influences the way we learn and grow, especially when it comes to something like learning English?
Oh, that's an interesting angle. I think happiness plays a huge role in learning. When we're happy, we're more open to new experiences and more motivated to take on challenges. For example, if you're in a good mood, you're more likely to enjoy practicing English, whether it's through conversations, watching movies, or reading books.
That's so true, and I think it works the other way around too. Learning something new, like English, can actually boost our happiness. It gives us a sense of accomplishment and helps us connect with others.
Definitely. It's a two-way street. Happiness enhances learning, and learning enhances happiness.
What does science say about happiness?
That's a great question. David, science tells us that happiness isn't just a vague concept, it's actually linked to our brain chemistry. For example, when we're happy, our brain releases chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which make us feel good. But it's not just about feeling good in the moment. These chemicals also have long-term benefits for our mental and physical health.
That's fascinating. So, happiness isn't just an emotion, it's a biological process that affects our entire body.
Exactly. And studies have shown that happy people tend to have stronger immune systems, lower stress levels, and even a reduced risk of chronic diseases. It's amazing how something as simple as being happy can have such a profound impact on our health.
It really is. And I think this ties back to what we were saying earlier about the ripple effect of happiness. When we're happy, we're more likely to take care of ourselves, which leads to better health, which in turn makes us even happier.
Absolutely. But let's not forget the role of happiness in personal growth. For example, how do you think being happy affects our ability to learn new skills, like speaking English?
Oh, that's a great point. I think happiness creates a positive mindset, which is essential for learning. When we're happy, we're more curious, more motivated, and more willing to take risks. And when it comes to learning English, those qualities are incredibly important.
Definitely, learning a new language can be challenging, but if you approach it with a positive attitude, it becomes much more enjoyable. For example, instead of stressing over grammar rules, you can focus on the fun parts, like watching your favorite TV show in English or having a conversation with a friend.
That's so true, and I think it's also worth mentioning that happiness helps us stay resilient. When we're happy, we're better at bouncing back from setbacks. So, if you make a mistake while speaking English, you're more likely to laugh it off and keep going, rather than giving up.
Exactly, and that resilience is key to making progress, not just in language learning, but in life in general.
Absolutely. But here's a question for you, Jennifer. Do you think happiness is something we can actively work on, or is it just something that happens to us?
I think it's both. While some aspects of happiness are beyond our control, there are definitely things we can do to cultivate it. For example, practicing gratitude, spending time with loved ones, and engaging in activities we enjoy can all boost our happiness levels.
That's a great point. And I think it's important to remember that happiness isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's about finding joy in the little things and making the most of every moment.
Well said, David. And speaking of making the most of every moment, let's talk about how we can apply these ideas to our daily lives, especially when it comes to learning English.
Now, let's focus on the how can we actively cultivate happiness while improving our English.
Great question, David. One simple method is to incorporate small, joyful habits into daily routines. For example, start your day by writing down one thing you're grateful for in English. This practice boosts positivity and reinforces vocabulary.
That's a brilliant idea. Gratitude journals are powerful. But what if someone feels stuck in negativity? How can they shift their mindset while practicing English?
It's all about reframing challenges. Instead of saying, "I'm bad at English," try, "I'm improving every day." Language learning thrives on optimism. Even watching a funny English show can lift your mood and train your ear naturally.
I agree, but let's be honest, learning isn't always fun. Grammar rules can feel tedious. How do we stay happy during the boring parts?
True, but that's where mindset matters. Pair grammar drills with something enjoyable, like listening to English music while studying. Or reward yourself after a tough session, maybe with a snack or a walk. Small joys keep motivation alive.
But isn't relying on rewards risky? What if the reward becomes the only motivation?
Fair point. The key is balance. Focus on intrinsic joy, like the pride of forming your first complex sentence. Celebrate progress, not just outcomes. And remember, mistakes are part of the journey. Laugh at them.
Speaking of mistakes, I think language learners often fear judgment. How does happiness combat that fear?
Happiness builds confidence. When you're kind to yourself, you're worrying less about perfection. Try speaking English with a friend, even if it's broken. Laugh together, correct each other gently. It turns anxiety into connection.
Love that! But let's not forget cultural aspects. Engaging with English-speaking cultures through food, films, or festivals can spark joy and deepen language skills. Agree?
Absolutely. Culture makes language come alive. For instance, cooking a recipe from an English-speaking country while following instructions in English fun and educational.
Now, let's tie this all together. How does prioritizing happiness create a better life and accelerate English learning?
Happiness fuels persistence. When you enjoy the process, you'll practice more often. And more practice means faster improvement. It's a cycle. Happiness gives effort, gives growth, gives more happiness.
Couldn't agree more. So, to all our listeners, chase joy, embrace mistakes, and let happiness guide your English journey.
To recap, happiness isn't just a feeling, it's a tool. It strengthens health, relationships, and learning. We discussed its science, its role in growth, and practical ways to nurture it daily.
And remember, learning English doesn't have to be stressful. Make it joyful. Watch movies, sing songs, chat with friends. Every small step counts.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to English Podcast for more tips. Dive into our previous videos, they're packed with strategies to boost your language skills while staying happy.
Thanks for joining us. Keep smiling, keep learning, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.